And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of DeathStryke Media's Force Friday show. It is Friday. We are talking some Star Wars. My name is James Waddington, and I am joined by the radio voice personality himself, James Armstrong. How you doing today?
I'm doing quite well, James. Happy to be here.
Double Jameses today. Sean,
all James edition.
Yep, Sean, if you notice, we're missing one as usual. He is out past the Outer Rim conveniently today. You know, maybe he's taking a long weekend out there, maybe gambling. I don't know what he's doing.
You know, I've been to the Outer Rim a few times. There's plenty to do out there.
Oh, sure, yeah. You got the edge of the unknown space, and man, the chiss are out there, so maybe he's getting some knowledge from Thrawn's people. So who knows? Getting
a little additional info on Snoke or something.
Yeah, like something like
he's hot on his trail.
That's why he's not here. He's hot on his trail. All right. Well, lately what we've been doing is we're getting shout outs to some YouTube channels that has been given, they've contributed some to Star Wars lore, some film lore in general, and I'm going to give a shout out to a couple local boys called a channel called Double Toasted. They are from right here in the Austin area. They've apparently been around for a long time. I just discovered them. That is totally my fault. I just want to give you guys a shout out on our channel. Yeah. Alrighty, we'll get right into this. If you have not seen our show before, we're 14 shows in or so. How this works is we have a couple of Star Wars stories, and we simply run them down and talk about them.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
And first up, guess what? Guess whose birthday it just was?
Whose birthday was it, James?
It wasn't mine or yours. It was George Lucas's birthday just recently. Yes,
and he didn't invite us to his party.
He did not. You think with all the great content we provide for that man, well, and Disney now, that he wouldn't be so kind as invite us to his birthday party. But did you know that he turned 73?
He doesn't look
day over 50.
Does not look that old, yeah.
So he's a young 73.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. So with that in mind, what do you buy a guy who created an entire galaxy that we know and love today? Like, do you buy him like a pack of a 6-pack of beer and go, thanks, guy, happy birthday? Like, what do you do?
I don't know. You know, like every time we see a biography of him on TV, he seems like a very easygoing family guy.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he would even drink. I don't know. Although I guess his kids are old enough so he can drink and feel good about it.
Yeah, he's 72. I'd hope his kids are at least 21.
Oh yeah. Like they got to be 21. I hope. Yeah. But I don't know. The guy has enough money; he could probably buy his own universe if he wanted to.
Yeah, but basically, what did he sell Disney or Lucasfilm to Disney?
A couple billion. At
least,
man.
2 billion, 2.1 billion.
I don't know.
Plus all the stuff that he gets from like royalties and he's got money to spare.
He's had that Star Wars toy money coming in since 1977.
At least, not to mention all the stuff that is with Carrie, like the likeness stuff from all the old days that he still gets paid for. Right. So yeah.
Oh man, but I don't know. It's like I do appreciate how Star Wars was made as kind of a tribute to the 1930s and 40s sci-fi serials like Flash Gordon and Buck Rogers. So
he loved those films.
So I guess if you were buying a gift for him, maybe you could find some old marquee poster from that time advertising those films and just kind of give him a throwback to his early childhood years.
Yeah, I mean that would make sense, but assuming he doesn't already have them.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, it's like that's always the most awkward.
But you can also find the rare overseas poster or something that they didn't print over here, or the rare or something like that. But even finding that stuff is pretty rare because I think I mentioned this when for the Celebration episode. When I got back, is they had the Artist Alley at Celebration. It's where the Ahsoka poster came from. Anyway, so a bunch of artists get invited to this event, and they have to submit for it, and then they do the original drawings, like that's an original, and but they have the master copies of everything, so they're actually hand drawn, hand painted, whatever their medium of choices. And before they sell the master copy, George Lucas himself has the rights to buy out anybody.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they can't sell the original artwork of anything from the artist area in Star Wars Celebration without George Lucas saying he will not buy it. But if he says he's not going to buy it, you still have to provide your information to the artist so he can give it to George Lucas's people. So just in case he wants to buy it later, he has the ability to.
Okay.
Think about that for a minute.
Yeah.
Just imagine how much Star Wars stuff is in that guy's house.
Yeah.
Skywalker Ranch.
My God, I mean, does he have an underground compound?
Oh, he's got
full
to.
of like artwork and toys and models.
Oh, I'm sure.
Does he get one of each? You know,
I don't know. I don't know what's provided to him. I know that he does get first choice on all originals at Celebration anyway.
Yeah, like I wonder if he has just a table down in that secret lair where he just actually opens up all the toys and starts playing with them all day. Just
I'm sure he does.
Yeah, just has his own rebel attack on Imperial fortresses, and,
probably
and the like. Yeah, good times.
It'd be like that scene from Lego, not Lego, the Lego Movie, where at the end of the scene you see Will Ferrell's character come down the stairs into the Lego. Was like, don't touch my Legos. They're not toys. I promise. Or they're daddy's. They're important. It's that's I can see George Lucas totally doing that with all of his like super nice stuff that like originals that came from like props from the original shoots. Like, don't touch them. They're not toys. Yeah, that's just how I see it. But I don't know.
And of course we have the movie Fanboys, where we can just imagine what his office would look like, and it's like, oh my God, I'm holding the original Falcon.
That and Falcon resting on a pile of money is kind of how I see that.
Exactly. More money than God.
He is a god in the Star Wars universe. He created it. It was
founded his own religion.
That's right. Speaking of finding your own religion, we got some Last Jedi news. We had a new cast member for Last Jedi. It was found out by an eagle-eyed fan looking through some of the celebration footage and that they released on the Last Jedi panel. And they had a little behind-the-scenes picture, and in that behind-the-scenes picture, someone noticed a familiar face in the little still with Billy Lord, by the name of Amanda. Lawrence. Funny how it actually came to be. This particular fan looked at that image, took the digital still from probably went home and took it out and looked at it. It's like, and tweeted at not Pablo Hidalgo, but Ryan. Was it right? Yeah, Ryan Johnson was like, "Is this Amanda?" And Ryan Johnson was like, "Yep, that sure is."
Aww.
And she's great. And that's how it was confirmed. It was confirmed through Twitter because some eagle-eyed fan noticed a still at Star Wars Celebration. Now, if you're not familiar with this lady, she's actually been in a ton of BBC stuff. She's I think an episode of Doctor Who or two, and then she's made her way through a lot of BBC productions. She's great. She's an older actress, so she kind of fits into that rebellion, not rebellion area, but this is the Resistance era, and it's kind of founded by people of the old rebellion, which is kind of a cool thing.
All right.
Are you surprised that they found another talented actress to kind of throw into the mix?
Oh no! I mean, you watch Force Awakens. There's that scene where they're meeting all the Resistance leaders, and they have like a sea of faces where you're like, I know that guy or I know that girl from somewhere. Where do I know them from? And Star Wars has always been good about not only finding up and coming new actors and actresses to introduce
veterans as well.
Yeah. Like you can go back to the original where they got Peter Cushing. And
Sir Alec Guinness.
Sir Alec Guinness, the immortal Christopher Lee, who got a part in the prequels.
Yeah, that's a funny thing because he actually wanted to be in the original Star Wars.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he actually knew Lucas from way then, but I forget why he couldn't be in it. I think it had to do with I have to go back and read. Yeah, but he wanted to be in the original trilogy because he's the right age and he could have totally fit in. But it's much like him in the going in for the Lord of the Rings, but that he was in as well. So he wanted to be part of it, but I think he wanted to be a different character at the time. Much like he didn't really want to be Saruman, he wanted to be Gandalf.
Yeah,
but he didn't like his nose and I don't know the position of being an evil character suited him a little bit better at that time in his life.
I guess
so. Yeah, but getting back to Amanda, she I think she's a great ad. I think she'll bring a lot of I guess I want to say old style acting because that's not what the BBC does. Very fluid acting, proper acting. I don't know if it's proper because that's not true either. Classic polished acting. There you go. I like the way you think, sir. So yeah, polished acting to the Star Wars universe. Even though we don't really, we see it a lot. We have a lot of new actors coming in, but keeping the veterans actor I think is great. Pulling talent from BBC because that's where a lot of the talent came from originally, and keeping that tradition alive going forward. And I hope they do that in the next trilogy going forward, or even in the Han Solo movies or the anthology movies, bringing in old talented actors and actresses. I don't know. I like the idea.
Yeah, it's almost like they're with the new actors in the more veteran actors trying to keep things balanced.
Yes, there is a balance in the Force.
There's a balance in the Force.
That's very true. Real quick before we move on to the next story, I totally spaced on this, and I meant to bring this up at the beginning of the show. I just want to take a moment to say Chris Cornell is gone too soon.
Yeah.
And Audio Slave was playing while I was doing the prep work for the video. He will be missed. He was a great talent.
Yeah, taken far too soon.
Yep.
That was the first headline I saw when I woke up this morning.
It was one of the first ones I saw this morning at 4.
And I just, I think the first words in my mouth were definitely a cuss word of some sort, just because that's just awful news to hear.
Yeah,
so,
especially right when you wake up in the morning. It's not what you want to hear. Then we're not going to get into this into how he died, but he has gone too soon. The ripe old age of 52, right in his prime. He just did a set with Soundgarden.
Yeah, like right in Detroit, I think.
Yeah,
somewhere. Yeah,
terrible loss. And all the love in the world goes out to family and friends of Chris Cornell, of course. On that breaking news, not really breaking news, but sad moment, we'll move forward and push through. Ever heard of this Han Solo movie?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, me too. We talked last week about the shooting locations in was it Easter Islands? No, Canary Islands.
Yeah,
that area.
Canary Islands, and there was a show I missed where I think they just announced filming in Italy.
Somewhere. Yes, they're briefly gonna. I think they're gonna do a couple weeks in Italy, but we've been confirmed that they're also shooting a bit in the mainland of England at the Fowley Power Station, which of course was seen most recently in Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation. So that's kind of cool to see that back in there. Now, if you've seen the movie, I think you have seen the movie. It's a very cool location, very industrial looking. Mm-hmm. What do you think it's going to be in the Han Solo film?
I don't know. I mean, like in Mission Impossible, if it's the facility I think it is, they pulled off an interesting trick, because I'm intrigued that it's in Southampton, because in that part of the movie it seemed like they were in the desert.
Yeah.
So
I think they're gonna do I think they're gonna pull a switcheroo and kind of do just interior shots or close exterior shots, and then move that over to the location over in probably the Canary Islands.
Somewhere. Like maybe it's mostly interior stuff. So
funny story on that. So was it Mos Eisley? Station. That main building that they were in, although it was technically on Tatooine, which is a desert planet, it's surrounded by sand. That actual building that they used is literally right next to the ocean.
Oh,
so they've done this before. They've done the switcheroo before.
I don't know. They like to film with the sea air.
It's good for the cameras
or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a Han Solo film, so maybe it'd be good for the Wookiee's coat. Maybe it keeps it nice and shiny.
Maybe, yeah, I don't know. Or I guess they're space marauders flying out there, and maybe they like being close to the sea because you have images of pirates on the ocean,
maybe
going about their business, and so they like the salty ocean sea air to just get the actors in the right place. Or I'm so just BSing right now. I don't.
But getting back to the power station, would you have an idea of maybe what it could be? I'm saying spaceport, but that's me. That's an easy answer.
My guess would be Imperial installation of some point.
I didn't think of that.
Yeah, because I think that for a power station, it's
already industrial.
Yeah, it's already industrial. It's the Empire at its prime. I feel like at some point he's going to have to be evading the Empire or sneaking into some installation. So my guess would be Imperial base of some kind.
I will second that. I didn't write that down in my notes, but I like that thinking, mainly because, again, like you said, it is at the height of the Imperial power, right in its prime, right when they're kind of putting their axe down to everybody. I kind of see that kind of going that direction. Like maybe Han gets thrown in jail, and maybe Chewie's there, and Chewie's about to be executed, and that's where he gets the life debt from Chewie. He saves his life.
Yeah, I like the idea of them meeting in jail. That's a good one.
That would be interesting, right? I wouldn't put it past him. It's Han Solo. I'm sure he's been in and out of space prisons all over the galaxy.
Right.
But
like they could share a cell, and it could be reminiscent of that scene in Return of the Jedi where Han is tossed into a cell and Chewie is there in the dark. He's like, "Who's there? Someone's there." And they meet up again.
And he's blind because he just got out of the carbonite.
Yeah, so, you make
that would be a great foreshadowing.
You can make that a throwback. Yeah.
It would be foreshadowing because it happens before that scene.
Okay, yeah, sure.
It would appear to us veterans as a throwback, but in the sequence of movies, it would be foreshadowing.
Sure. if like sometime down the road you watch them all in order of events instead of order of release, sure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You could do it that way.
Yeah, that I don't know why, but now I'm hung up on that space prison thing. I like that. Maybe it's this prison on Corellia, because I think that's where they said they were trying to film, or that's the planet they were trying to build on the island, on Easter Island area. That would be kind of cool because we get to see and we hear a lot of the might of the Empire, and we do see a lot of its cruelty some of its cruelty kind of in the original trilogy. They don't go a whole lot into it besides them killing Ewoks, and
they blew up Alderaan.
The space station blew up Alderaan, not the actual like
the daily
stormtroopers.
The daily life.
Exactly.
We
don't see a whole lot of that. So maybe this would be a really good way. We see the Death Troopers and the Shore Troopers in Rogue One, but they get shot and killed. Although they do get their fair share of rebels. Maybe we get to see some of that cruelty that's in a lot of the books, because a lot of the stormtroopers in the books are very cruel to people in prison and stuff like that. So maybe we'll see that.
That's what they get for betraying our beloved Emperor Palpatine.
Right. We'll go. Yeah. So about he's not a rebel. He's an Imperial Slimo. But he is wearing a Wonder Woman button, so I got to point that out.
Oh, looking forward to that movie.
So he's sporting that pretty
coming
good.
Out June 2nd. Go Team DC.
We'll talk about that a little later. But
I will add just one final point on the filming location. Is that, I do know someone in England, and the coast of England has definitely not quite recovered from the Great Recession that started several years ago. So the coast cities could use all the help that they can get, and
that power station closed down a couple years ago too. Someone thought well, that power station. That's why they keep using it as a filming location, because it closed down in 2012.
Well, please, film crews, visit all the local diners and bars and spend all the money and just
help that economy out.
Help folks out. Like I know Dover has also been hit hard, which I was sorry to hear about. I remember way back when my grandparents, my mom and I visited England, and I loved seeing the white cliffs of Dover. And it was a beautiful town to visit. So more power to them, and best of luck.
Yeah, they had actually within that story of them filming at this power station or this power plant. Some of the locals were like, "Oh yeah, we saw these film crews. We saw the film crew arrive. The big trucks, and they're building all this stuff." And the local residents was like, "Oh yeah, we just had the Mission Impossible guys. It's all great, and we welcome everybody that comes in." And the guy who was saying this, they were interviewing, had just got out to this pasture and rounded up his horses. So I was like, that's kind of an interesting kind of view of you. You have like a power station with livestock nearby, and then you have this industrial party moving through, if you will, making this film set. Going like, if you've never seen a film set be built, they literally build it in like a couple days and they tear it down just as fast. I would just love to see like a perspective of that.
Yeah,
it'd just be like a local resident going, "What are they building? Well, that's cool. Whoop, where'd it go?" It's like I would love to see that in real life.
Yeah, no, like on the special features to mini Blu-rays, they will show like a shot taken every day as they assemble the set, and you see it put together. But good point. They never show it disassembled.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be cool to see that epicness of it being built very gradually over time, and then...
That's kind of what I was hoping that they were going to do with the live stream with Star Wars Celebration is you have the live streams that happen every day while you're there, but you don't see the before and after. However, when I was there, because I was there after the doors have closed the last day, they're kicking everybody out, and because my friend knew somebody who happened to be working on the Star Wars live stage set, with the giant TIE fighter and the interior shot of the Falcon with the sabacc table and everything. I got to see them, a lot of that teardown, and I mean, it was like that fast.
Okay.
Like they were just like, and they had everything pretty much done, and half the set was gone by the time we left. I'm like, good Lord. However, because they had a full-scale TIE fighter.
This is a German TIE fighter,
It was a German TIE fighter, so it's very efficient. The guy was like, we asked him, it's like, is it easier to tear down or set up? He's like, well, it's easier to tear down, but we have to be extra careful tearing it down because Well, if you drop it, it's probably going to break.
Oh yeah,
You're gonna break one of those foil wings off. No, with that, and then you have to rebuild the whole thing. So then getting it back to Germany is a pain.
Is all this like watching an Indy 500 crew working so fast to like
on the on like a pit crew? Yeah, that's exactly what it reminded me of. It's so efficient, I guess, because they've been doing it such a long time that they have an idea of how certain pieces fit together or what have you. So that's kind of interesting.
Right on.
Yeah, that's that. All right, so we're gonna move on because awkward transition into we have so how do you feel about well, we'll do this. Fake news. Mm-hmm. That's been a big hot topic button, hasn't it?
I'm not a big fan of that term though.
Right. So we have some Han Solo news come out with one of the actresses coming up in the Han Solo film is Phoebe Waller-Bridge. She likes to have fun, and I don't blame her.
Yeah.
I would, if I was involved in a major motion picture, Star Wars or whatever, I would want to have a little bit of fun with the fans, because you see the veterans who can give an interview without giving anything away. I mean, Daisy Ridley is new, and she's great at it. She's like she's a pro now, but like we'll say like Mark Hamill, he can talk around anything without giving anything away, but it sounds like he's giving you everything. He's a pro. However, Phoebe wanted to just go out and be like, I want to tell a false plot point and just tell everybody what the movie is about, the wrong thing. That way, have some bit of fun. However, the House of Mouse said, you probably shouldn't do that. I'm mixed on it. I'm like, it depends on what she said. Like, I would be like, by the way, Han Solo dies in this film, which we all know is false. So that's what I would say. Just have a little bit of fun.
Yeah.
However, if you could pick a false plot point for a movie, Han Solo or Star Wars or whatever, what would you tell the public during interviews for your upcoming movie?
I don't know. I would make up some kind of off-the-wall weird thing that I know wouldn't show up in the movie. Like, it's crazy how the Falcon started out just being gasoline-powered, You wouldn't think that'd be efficient for space travel, but, I guess that they wanted it to be more of like, just gassing up your truck and just taking a long highway trip, or just something off the wall and, just nutty like that.
Weird. We don't actually see...
Yeah,
spacecraft get fuel.
It's Star Wars. They don't really have the internal combustion engine, I think.
Yeah, or do they use power cells? I mean, what do they use? Anyway,
sci-fi magic.
movie sci-fi magic. But yeah, I think like you said, like filling up. Like I gotta go to the gas station, put some petrol in my Falcon, or I gotta go down to the petrol station and get fuel for my X-wing. Yeah. But something like that would be very, very funny.
Or like Sean's not here, so I feel compelled to make a Spaceballs reference.
Oh, like, absolutely.
You could mimic that scene of Spaceballs where they're just gassing up the Winnebago and they stop into the diner and maybe someone has an alien burst out of his chest while they're there and they're hitting on the waitress and
not again. Probably if you didn't know what that was from and you're like, what is this?
Yeah.
But if you're watching a spoof movie based on the largest space phenomenon ever, we would assume you have seen at least another sci-fi movie, at least another alien movie called Alien or Aliens.
But I would love to say, we got this great sequence where we stop to gas up the Falcon. We go into the diner, and it was really cool. We got the permission from John Candy's estate to recreate his character in the background of the diner.
Oh yeah.
So Barf is somewhere in the background of the Han Solo movie.
Maybe they could tie in Dax's diner from I think it was Clone Wars.
Haven't watched the show yet, so I'd like to go.
No, the movie. Sorry, Attack of the Clones.
Oh, Attack of the Clones. Oh,
Dax.
The guy that Obi-Wan gets the info from.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, like tie in that. Like, maybe they go to Coruscant, stop at a fuel station, and go to that diner and be like, "Hey, Dax. Dax knows Solo. We don't know how long that species lives. Maybe he could live, forever. Yeah. I mean, Yoda's 900, right?
Yeah, exactly.
1200 or something. I don't know. 900.
900 at least.
Yeah, so, and how old, I wonder how old he was in the prequels. I think like a couple hundred. So he's got to be at least like 500, 600 because he was alive through Anakin, right?
Oh, the prequels only take place, what, 30, 40 years before the original?
Yeah, so he's probably
original?
800.
So in that case, man, the Clone Wars really aged that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, gosh. Wow.
Yeah, he went to he was on Dagobah for
At least 2 decades or
they're
more.
probably 30 years.
Probably 30, yeah.
Yeah, because they had to think of how old Anakin was, and then you had to think of Luke.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where I start. Like, how old is Luke?
So Luke was 20-ish, 18, 19 when he left. So 20 plus, probably 40 years.
Okay.
I'll probably guess about 40 years.
But, yeah, like, going back to the whole, I'm not going to use the term fake news. I hate that term.
I know. I had to bring it up that way, though, because it was funny.
Oh, yeah. But I guess going back to the
false information.
the dilemma of making up stories for people to ward them off. I have such divided opinions on this. Like, on one hand, I like when people just mess with folks. Like Michael Shannon had a very small part in Batman v Superman, and he made up a story about how his character had flippers on his feet, and people lost their minds. They're like, "Oh my God, is he a character from the Aquaman comics?" And this, that, and the other. No,
the speculation went crazy.
Yeah, the speculation went crazy, and it was just total bull.
Yeah,
and I loved how he was just pulling their leg. But on the other hand, there's
speculating on things they don't really speculated on.
No, see, the problem is that sometimes you can come up with an idea that might end up. I'm going to feel a little bad for saying. Well, no, I'm not going to feel bad for saying this. Sometimes you might come up with an idea that's better than what you get in the movie.
Also true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
you maybe you say this as a joke, but you're like, actually, that would work very well.
Yeah. like going to one of the more divisive Star Trek films, Star Trek Into Darkness.
See, go on.
It's like there was a moment where Simon Pegg was part of the cover-up on who Benedict Cumberbatch's character was. A lot of people thought he was going to be Khan, who he turned out to be.
Right.
But in an interview, Simon Pegg said, yeah, his take on Gary Mitchell was just going to blow people away. Now, I have not watched all the original Star Trek episodes, but Gary Mitchell, played by Gary Lockwood in one of the first episodes of the franchise, was a friend of Kirk's who introduced him to a blonde lab tech and who got taken over and got these super alien powers and had to be killed by the end of the episode. Very dramatic.
Yep, I remember the episode.
Yeah, and so when I saw that he was going to be Gary Mitchell, I thought, oh, wow, we're going to find out more about Kirk's backstory. It'll show him being introduced to that blonde lab tech, i.e. Carol Marcus, and we're going to see more of Kirk just abandoning that family life and going with Starfleet, all the stuff that they hinted at in Wrath of Khan, and instead he turned out to be Khan, and we got, by and large... And we got a rehash of that movie. Yeah. So, again, you got to be careful.
Yeah. A lot of people, a lot of Trekkies, and I've seen every episode of Star Trek from any of the series. I've seen them, except for the feature-length films. I've seen like 2.
Okay.
I just can't put myself to watch them, mainly because they're hour and a half long stories that don't need to be an hour and a half long.
Oh.
Anyway. But I really enjoyed Star Trek Into Darkness, and most people didn't. I know this is a Star Wars show and we're talking Star Trek, but it's all space related.
We're all friends here.
Yeah. But I kind of like where you're going with that. It's like you don't want to put something out there that super fans or fans of the franchise who could latch onto that idea and be like, no, this is what they're doing, this is what it's going to be, and this other thing is the ruse. Yeah, I mean, I could see that, but at the same time, if you give out like I said a minute ago, it's like, oh yeah, this film's about how Han Solo died. It's like we know how Han Solo died, so that would just be fun. That way, it's like, oh yeah, Alton Ehrenreich was great. His death scene was amazing.
Yeah.
To me, that would be fun because it's false. The fans know it's false, and you can just have fun with it.
Unless they unveil Han Solo's twin brother.
This is not the Kingsman 2. But we'll save that conversation for another day. But if it comes out as fun and playful, I know where Disney's coming from. Like you said, like you don't want to give out the idea that maybe your false information is gonna be a better plot point than the actual arc of the story. But again, if it's something off the wall, crazy, stupid, like something we already know it's 100% false, that would be fun.
Yeah.
Because I can only imagine sitting down for an interview, very professional, like you're being interviewed by Pick an Outlet. Us. We'll say us. You're interviewing
Or
us.
John Schnepp over at Collider.
Yeah. Speaking of John Schnepp, it was just his birthday the other day.
Yeah, I saw that.
And it's Mark Riley's birthday today. So happy birthday to those two. Sitting down for your interview, and your talent's in front of you. It is Phoebe, and you go, so you're gonna be in the Han Solo movie? Blah, yeah, we're gonna be in Han Solo. Like, having fun in the studio? Like, yeah, I'm having fun in the studio. Like, can you tell me anything about this movie at all? Looks at you very seriously and goes, Han Solo dies in this film. I would just lose my mind laughing so hard because she obviously can't say anything about it. But if it comes out that way, that would be funny.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
That's good humor.
Yeah.
You can't.
If you know it's a lie, just let them do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If you know it's a big fat bold lie, go for it. I mean, you know, as an actress or an actor going on this big project, you can't say anything anyway, so you might as well have a little bit of fun doing it.
Yeah.
But I don't work for Disney.
Or like, audiences are really going to enjoy seeing Chewie as a hamster-sized youngling or
See,
something.
perfect.
Yeah.
I love that.
There we go.
That's perfect. Yeah. Or we actually get to shave Chewie in this one. See, stuff like that would be perfect.
I'm just imagining like a shaved cat, only it's bigger and wookier.
He gets sprayed by a skunk. Instead of washing him in tomato juice, we had to shave him. Oh man, that'd be funny.
It's times like this I wish I did a good Chewie impression, so you'd be like,
I know that would be hilarious.
hell yeah.
All right, I think we're gonna move on to our last story. We're moving pretty fast through this. Maybe it'll be a little shorter show than usual, but that's okay. The last story is a lost in translation. Perhaps, maybe.
Yeah.
We're only speculating because I'm not Google Translate, and I can't speak Japanese. Any of the 4 types of Japanese, like kanji, hiragana, katakana, and whatever the third is, like 4 of them. If you didn't know if you knew that.
I had no idea.
Yeah, okay. They're written differently. It's one language, but the way it's written is like 4. They can write it like 4 different styles.
Okay.
So I don't speak any of them. My wife knows a little bit, and my friend Alex can speak it fluently. Anyway,
right
so speaking of the Japanese, so on the Japanese leaflet, pamphlet thing, teaser poster thingy, says, and if you translate it with, I don't know if it was Google Translate or whatever, it literally states, shocking truth revealed, shocking, and it kind of goes on and on and on about a shocking truth will be revealed in this movie, and it'll be the biggest reveal ever in Star Wars. Is this just a mistranslation, or did they let this slip through the Japanese market, or kind of what's your thoughts on this one?
I don't know, like upon first read, when I saw this yesterday, I just thought, this is something you would include to get people hyped up for the movie.
Especially in an area, or what do they call those districts? No, in a market that is not typically a big Star Wars market.
See, I haven't looked at their box office take in Japan, so I wasn't
biggest.
sure. Okay.
Not for Star Wars.
Oh, not for Star Wars? Okay.
Yeah.
Like, well, of course, the first movie I think was well received there, but that was back in the 70s. I don't know. I mean, this is the second movie in the trilogy, and of course, it's going to invite comparisons to Empire Strikes Back, which had the biggest plot reveal of all time.
Yes, that one will be forever hard, or you can't beat that one as far as a space opera goes.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, my instinct is just to say that it's a tagline. They want to get people hyped up for the movie, and they want your butt in that theater watching the movie, so you can be shocked by what they do. That's the positive impression I had. I guess the negative one would be if they go for a super surprise shock ending. Again, it's Force Awakens had trouble because it felt like a remake of A New Hope.
Yeah, had lots of elements.
Too many for my taste. But this one is already going to have like new and improved AT-ATs, like the ones featured in Empire Strikes Back. So I'm hesitant because now I'm worried they might be making this too much like Empire Strikes Back instead of it trying to do its own thing.
Well, yeah, Rian Johnson did come out and say, because someone tweeted at him saying, "Is this gonna be like Empire Strikes Back?" And he's like, "I am not in the market to remake Empire Strikes Back."
Good attitude.
Yeah, he said The Force Awakens was great. It needed to do what it needed to do, which is reintroduce us to the Star Wars universe in a positive way that the prequels couldn't do. And that's not George Lucas's fault. We're not talking about the prequels right now anyway. But he did say he is not remaking the Empire Strikes Back. However, traditionally, the second movie in a trilogy is always the darker one.
Oh, sure.
So regardless of what people are going to say, of course, they're like, oh, it's dark like Empire or whatever. Well, that's just the third one in a trilogy. Is you got to have your hero go on an adventure. Yeah. The second one in a trilogy, you got to have your hero go and have his his adventure plus his tragedy, and then
it's all part of the hero cycle.
Exactly. Look it up in literature. There's a hero cycle in every major motion picture that doesn't have to be a trilogy. Anyone who has a hero goes on a hero's journey, and they have to hit. And if they don't hit these points, you're missing story elements. So, but with this particular poster, that the Japanese little pamphlet leaflet thing, I'm hoping that it's just wanting to get butts in seats. And I love speculating on little things like this because I love being wrong, and I'm wrong 90% of the time on these things.
Nah.
So I'm hoping it's that way, and it's not like some press guy in Japan going, I'm going to put this little symbol here, and it's going to mean this, and it's going to be the biggest thing ever. Yeah. And I hope it's not that, but at the same time, anything that we can do as Star Wars fans, as people who make this promotional goods to help it grow in markets that don't typically have a lot of Star Wars, I mean, go for it. So whatever you got to do.
Well, as far as your batting average goes, I think you're probably more closer to 50-50. You were right about Ahsoka living, and I know you and Sean had a big back and forth on that a few times. So
yeah, I was right about it. I knew Ahsoka was going to come back. She's a huge fan favorite. So
so don't sell yourself short, man.
You can't. Out of all of my predictions so far, I've gotten one right on the show.
Come on, there we go.
Out of all of the canon books I've read, which is now most. Speaking of, I did finish another one. I did finish. What was it? Oh, it was Rebel Rising, Jyn Erso's story.
Oh yeah.
I'd finished that one. Great book. I'm debating to do book reviews on Star Wars stuff. Maybe I'll do a little video, 5-minute videos.
Just do a little quickie, non-spoiler reaction videos.
And then a spoiler one afterwards, so I can have two.
There we go.
But
I'll have to borrow that one from you eventually because
I'll have to buy it because I have it on digital.
Oh, digital! Darn.
I can buy it. I don't mind buying it. Trust me, I clearly have all of these on digital as well. I have the hard copies as well. I clearly don't mind buying another copy.
Just out of curiosity, because I'm one of those guys that I don't have a tablet. I like reading actual books.
No, that's good.
I have the walls in my room are full of books, which makes it a lot of fun when I move. But just how do you like reading digitally?
I don't read digitally. I listen to it.
Oh, you listen to it. Okay. So by digital, you meant you were just listening. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I was imagining you on a tablet there. Okay.
Oh no,
that's my bad.
If I was going to read, I'll read a book.
Good.
If however, because I have a 2-year-old and I have a full-time job and I have a wife who always wants me to do things, I don't have time to sit and read. So listening to Audible in the car, because I do drive a lot. I drive. In Texas is a big state, so it takes a lot of time to get anywhere. I have plenty of time to listen to Star Wars books. And, for the most part, I think Lost Stars or the Thrawn book are the longest ones. And they're about like 16 hours.
Okay.
And Rebel Rising was about 9 hours.
Okay.
And they're good productions. They don't skimp on the production value of these books either. So you'll get the intro music for Star Wars. And then you'll get sound effects with blaster fires and lightsabers. You'll get if there's marching, you'll hear stormtrooper marching. You hear the boots on the ground. Like they go into this like it's like an old radio production.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Okay.
But it's read word for word, unabridged books.
Oh man, this is like
so worth it.
This is like making me reconsider like actually having a book. I mean, like I just talked about the beauty of books a few moments ago, so I seem like a hypocrite. But that sounds awesome.
Clearly, I like books too.
Yeah.
But I don't have time to read them. And my wife was like, you need to stop buying the hard copies of your digital books. I'm like, what if we lose the digital copies? I need my books. Again, sucks when you move because they're heavy. Mm-hmm. But they look great on a desk. Yeah. And they make great features for shows.
Yeah, reading is fun.
It is. It what I'm having problems, I know we're actually out of topics. We're just talking about books now, which is great.
Yeah, this is the part of the show where we just talk about what's on our mind.
Exactly. The thing, what I really enjoy about the books and the audio productions is the pronunciations of different names for things. So on the audio productions, I assume are the canon way of saying things, but that's not always the case. Like maybe an act, because they'll get the script for the book months before the book hits the shelf because they have to do the audio for it.
Okay.
So by the time they read these names before, like, you know, the story group comes out and saying it's actually pronounced this way, it's already in the digital being read to you this particular other way, which is fine. No big deal. But it's silly little things like that I kind of love. It's like, because everyone, you know, even in the English language, humans, especially from all the parts from around even the United States, say the same words differently.
Sure. Yeah, exactly.
So it's the same thing.
It should be the same in the Star Wars universe.
Exactly.
Or like in the Batman universe, it's like there's that eternal divide over my favorite Batman villain. It's like, is it pronounced Ra's al Ghul or Ra's al Ghul?
Yeah, exact same thing.
Yeah.
Same thing happens. What I really enjoy is Thrawn. To me, is the best audio production so far, because the guy who does the audio for Thrawn gets his voice perfect to match up with the TV show Thrawn.
Oh, cool.
So it's not any missteps.
Okay.
So you're not like, this Thrawn in this book's different than this Thrawn in this book. Are they two different Thrawns? No, the same Thrawn.
Nice. Very nice.
So he gets the voice pretty much perfect. And of course, Ashley Eckstein reads for Ahsoka, and she is the voice actress of Ahsoka, so that's very cool. Not the best talented voice actress when it comes to branching out to like male characters.
Oh,
but that's something that you have to get used to sometimes. Is you have these most of them are male read, and they do female voices for the females and stuff. But for whatever reason, the female voice actors have a harder time making male voices happen because it's a little deeper, and a lot of times these female voice actresses have a higher pitch and they have a brighter tone than most males do. So other than that, I would say if you want to enjoy an audiobook, go to Audible and start with Lost Stars. Okay. Mainly because the story is really good and the production value and everything about that is just amazing. Okay. Great production.
Okay. So I will consider that.
Another good thing about Audible is if you have an account with Audible and you do your monthly subscriptions, you can either have like one book a month, or in books are credits. So you get 1 credit a month, 2 credit a month, or 3 credit a month, and you pay a certain amount, right? So we have a 3 credit a month subscription. And what that does is allows me to get my 1 Star Wars book, and my wife gets her 2 other books because I'm a nice guy. And your credit your book credit money, like it's say these books cost like what $29.99 new on the shelf.
Sounds right.
The credits are like $15.99, so you're paying like 20% less than the actual book cost.
Okay.
When you do the subscription plans, but if you buy it per credit, you pay the cover price of the book. So it's cheaper to do the monthly credit, or if you have an account, to buy a credit and then buy the book instead of buying the book without an actual account.
This episode of Fourth Friday brought to you by Audible.com.
Yes, and Audible's cool. I like Audible. Yeah. If you're not using Audible, that's fine. For just reading the books, that's totally fine too. Or not reading the books, that's totally fine too. It's all how you want to enjoy Star Wars. I like to do all of Star Wars.
For your everyday Star Wars day.
Pretty much, I think. So, a little side story. I just did 90% of my laundry.
Nice.
I'd say 90% because I'm sure I'll find somewhere that I didn't do.
It's always a sock hiding somewhere.
Exactly. Yeah. So I was going through it and I had, folding my shirts, and then I looked at the pile of shirts and I realized that the entire pile of shirts that I had just folded and put in the drawer were all Star Wars shirts. Yeah. So I was like, how many do I have? So I counted them. I think I have like 29. So I can pretty much wear a Star Wars shirt every day of the month and not have to wash them before. I was like, I think I need to stop buying shirts.
Oh.
Yeah, in that particular drawer, I have Star Wars and then 1 pile of Doctor Who shirts.
Okay, there you go.
And then below that are all of my other fandom shirts.
Yeah, no, it's fun to organize. Like I have maybe several Batman shirts, and I have shirts that are like based on TV shows. Like today, I got Castiel from Supernatural.
Yep.
And I have some that are based off of TV. Like there was some I got for free on Conan O'Brien's website when his show had a tour a while back, and
he came to Boston, didn't he? I thought he did.
Maybe I know he was in Dallas at some point. Alice. And yeah, they do a thing sometimes where they like post an online code during the broadcast. You can just type that in. If you're one of the first like 100, 200 people to do that, you get a free shirt.
Nice.
So I got a few of those. So
awesome.
Yeah, t-shirts can be fun.
Yeah, and informative. Like I'm wearing the Rebel shirt today, you Imperial scum. Anyway, getting back to Star Wars briefly. We mentioned Audible with these topics. I want to say there's probably some other stuff that came out. I just don't remember what it was because it's just now spacing off my head. I had it in my head while you're talking and it's gone. It happens. What are you going to do?
Space is vast, you know.
Yeah,
you're bound to lose something out there.
Yeah, reading all of the canon books though real quick, they all kind of blend together, so I can't remember what book has what in it anymore. that's happened to you a few times in the last couple episodes. It's just you're getting so much information you can't separate it from all the plot lines. I started reading the canon books a little late after the Disney merge, and they revamped the canon books, and so by the time I was really getting into doing the Audible or reading, there was a plethora of books to go out and get. So I read them back to back, and and I blame Aftermath because it's a 3-parter, and it blends in everything because it takes place over a lot of time. So a lot of the time that takes place in the series crosses over in a lot of the other books, time frame wise. So it's like, was that in that book? Was that in that book? What was that in? God dang it! So a lot of canon, a lot of good stuff out there. But I think we're coming up on our limit on time.
All right. Well, did you want to talk a little Wonder Woman for a moment?
No.
You look like you had something to say.
Yeah, we'll get back to it. We'll save it for a show that we're gonna shoot a pilot for right after this.
Oh, right on.
Anyway, that'll do it for our episode of Force Friday show. Remember to like, subscribe, share, and comment. We love those things, and we're still giving away the AT-ACT driver here because I only have one comment person, or 2 comment people, and I know who you are, and that didn't count. More comments, please, and we'll get back to you if you're going to win it. I'll take anybody at this point. Just comment. I'm tired of looking at this driver.
Yeah. Tell us what you think about a shaved Chewbacca.
Yeah, and who else, and what? Not only that, but also tell us what kind of false plot point you would tell an interviewer about a Star Wars movie that you'd be starring in.
Yeah, hashtag Han Solo spoilers.
That'll work.
Yeah, there we go.
And we will see you guys next week, same time, same place. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.
All right.
We still got plenty of time.
Yeah.
We can shoot a pilot, which I can work on for a couple days.
Is that the...